Crenshaw, runner-up for the last 2 years, with an almost intellectual obsession to win this title.
The 109th Open was a championship at times almost unreal. All right, the virtuosity of the ultimate victory was unreal in a sense. We'll come to that in due time. But on the first day, when Watson and Trevino shared the lead, cloudbursts extraordinary even to this event. And later, scores so unexpected that members stood half resentful as the world's greatest golfers, and one of the not-so-great, threatened to destroy Muirfield's reputation.
Horatio Carbonetti from Argentina, a former lawyer, needs this putt for a 64. And that is a course record from a virtually unknown player, 64. Quite unbelievable.
This was the second day, a day for sudden fame and nostalgia. Arnold Palmer, lifelong friend of the Open, received on the final fairway his customary ovation. But this time it had an extra warmth, as though from crowds subconsciously aware of what might follow.
So a crucial putt for Arnold Palmer may well need this to qualify.
So by a single stroke did Palmer fail to qualify for the third day. He said that at 50 he may have played his last British Open, a prediction accepted if disbelieved, if a fact, a historic milestone. The headlines, though, will always proclaim the Palmers. For the Carbonettis, fame flies on the wind.
Third round, final hole. Can he do it again? Running well, running well. Oh, no.
On this third day, Carbonetti has a 78, fails to qualify for the final round, and sees his name buried in an onslaught on records.
Hubert Green, former United States Open champion and having a fantastic round today.
Green has a 64. He emulates Carbonetti, but not Isao Aoki.
The Japanese has this for a 63. 8 under par, 63 for Aoki, equals the record set up at Turnberry in 1977 by Mark Hayes, and I never thought I'd see the day when that would happen here at Muirfield.
But in retrospect, these records seem insignificant in the championship overall. This is the platform from which on the third day the decisive dramas will derive. Lee Trevino, who won here in 1972, leading by 3 from Tom Watson, Jerry Pate, and Britain's Ken Brown. And among the following group, Jack Nicklaus, the US Open champion, Seve Ballesteros, the defender, and Ben Crenshaw, the special case.
This tournament is special to me because of the history, and since my love for British golf and Scottish golf has grown so much, it's more or less a life ambition for me from here on out to win an Open championship. It's something that I don't know if I could live without, so we'll just hope for the best and see what happens. I'm going off at around 3:10, which could be one of the most important days in my golfing life. The third day of the major championship is certainly nerve-wracking, and I'm very keyed up.
On the tee, Ben Crenshaw.
So the 28-year-old Texan, watched by his pretty wife Polly, drives one away. A few ums and ahs, but I don't think that'll be in too much trouble on this very narrow opening fairway. We're up ahead of 2 very interesting players from America, Andy Bean, a veritable giant of a man, and Dr. Gil Morgan. Both 2 under par, 5 off the overnight lead. Here's Morgan's second shot. Nice compact figure of a man, good easy swing. This opening hole, 449 yards, a good par 4, And that's a splendid second shot from Morgan. Morgan, a fully qualified ophthalmic optician, but now a highly successful professional on the American tour. But now Bean was in trouble from the tee, so it's Morgan safely on the green in 2, but Bean playing 3. And from an awkward lie with the wind behind across the corner, Bean plays a very good shot, just rolls a little bit further away than probably an ideal shot, but still very good, and an outside chance to salvage his 4. But first to putt, Gil Morgan. What a lovely way to start the day. A birdie 3, and he goes immediately to 3 under par. Meantime, way up ahead at the 13th, someone from much nearer home, Sam Torrance. Scottish professional playing this delightful short hole of 153 yards. And a gem. Torrance not really in contention, of course. He's 2 over par. But back on the outward half, here's a man who certainly is, Gil Morgan. Birdied the first, as we saw, also birdied the second. This is his 3rd shot, the par 5, 5th hole. And what a beautiful stroke, and that certainly looks like 3 birdies in the first 5 holes. That puts him 5 under par, just 2 off the lead. So the pack already closing in on Trevino.
Man, I almost got me a birdie already.
Well, he didn't, and he still hasn't. In the meantime, Ken Brown, his playing companion, already had 1 birdie. Tom Watson's had 2. And Gil Morgan, as we've seen, 3. Crenshaw, well, only par golf for him. Still 2 under at the 5th with Jack Newton from Australia. Newton also 2 under. This putt to save his par. And a good effort, but that's 1 dropped, a bogey, so he goes to 1 under. Crenshaw then with a longish putt for a birdie. Good speed. So Crenshaw joins the hunt of Trevino. He goes to 3 under par. And that's the position. This championship getting closer and closer by the minute. And among those just off the board, the formidable figures of Jack Nicklaus and Severiano Ballesteros. Ballesteros 1 under at the par 4, 11th hole. And the familiar turn away of disgust, but I wonder why. Probably doesn't realise just how close that ball is to the hole. Now Nicklaus, level par, and struggling a bit today. He's dropped a couple of strokes. And that looks very promising indeed. Lovely stroke. But it'll be Ballesteros to putt first. Ballesteros, who was just 9 years of age when Nicklaus won his first Open here in 1966. This for a birdie. No. But it's a par 4. Jack Nicklaus, almost the same line as Ballesteros. Has he learnt something from the young Spaniard's putt? And that's a superb birdie 3. He gets back to 1 under. Ballesteros remains 1 under. And ahead at the long 9th, it's Gil Morgan, who's still 5 under par. This hole, 495 yards and a par 5, but reachable in 2 today, and that's a good one from Morgan. Onto the green with an iron and a real chance for an eagle 3. Now Andy Bean. He's improved. He's now 3 under. He's missed the green though. played it well. That's his third, and a very holeable putt there for a birdie. Now Morgan, this for a 3. Don't get many 3s here at this 9th hole. And just dribbles away. But that's a very good birdie 4. And with Bean getting his birdie, both he and Morgan gain strokes to par at the 9th. And for Morgan, that's 4 birdies in 9 holes, and he's now just 1 stroke behind Trevino. Trevino, well, he's had his 40th birthday and playing today with 23-year-old Ken Brown. In a little trouble perhaps here at the par 5 5th hole. Playing 4, very much on the upslope, taking a long club, not too much loft on it. The ground will throw it up in the air, and he could have done with a touch more on that, but in all probability that little chip will be good enough to secure yet another par. Trevino marks. Brown, who represents Scotland but is based in England, on in 3, 5 under. Fine birdie 4, he goes to 6 under and now just 1 behind Lee Trevino and tying with Gil Morgan and Tom Watson. Watson at the par 5 9th, and very much in the same circumstance we saw Bean in just a moment ago. Third shot, all fast chip down, it swings away, and on it goes about 6 feet. Now Jerry Pate, former American Open champion, joint 2nd overnight, but slipped a few today. But even so, he's still 4 under par, and this long putt for an eagle 3. That's a birdie 4 and 5 under par. Now, Watson, this for a birdie, this to tie with Trevino for the lead. So that's a par 5 for Watson. And a touch of disappointment. Trevino still just 1 stroke ahead of Watson, Brown and Gil Morgan. Morgan about to play his 2nd shot at the 11th. He really has been quite the sensation of the day so far. 2 under overnight, but now 6 under. Second shot. And another chance for a birdie. So he too now has a chance of levelling with Trevino, who still hasn't managed a birdie today and is very much under pressure as he plays the long, difficult 9th hole. First, though, to play the 2nd shot is Ken Brown. Gives it a big crack. Chases it down onto that front left corner. Will it kick out? No, and settles down in that thick spinach-like rough. Now Trevino's 2nd. And it's going to hold on, is it? No.
I made a boo-boo.
So 1 left, 1 right. And great support for young Ken Brown, who's faced with a difficult 3rd shot from heavy rough, downhill, fast, left to right. Just barely touches it, and I don't think he's touched it quite enough. But look at that ball come down the hill. That just shows you the speed of it all. Chance for a 4. Now, rather pensive Trevino. A little chippered run. Long backswing, short follow through. And he's gone as far the other side. Brown for a 4. stayed up, and that's hard to believe. So that's a par for Brown. Now can Trevino get his first birdie of the day? Yes, he can. And he goes to 8 under par. And Morgan has missed his putt at the 11th, so Trevino, after all that toing and froing, is once again 2 strokes ahead of the field midway through his 3rd round. There the scores Tom Watson reads as he stands on the 11th fairway. Watson, who won this championship in 1975 at Carnoustie and 1977 at Turnberry. Scotland's been kind to this young American. Now then, this hole, 386 yards, par 4. And whoa, fortune favours the brave, they say. A touch of good fortune and a real birdie chance for Watson. Pate, he dropped a stroke at the 10th. 4 under now, playing 3. Awkward shot. Everything running away from him. Look at that ball trying to come back to the flag. But a tricky putt to save his par. No, so that's 2 strokes in a row dropped, and one senses things are beginning to slip away for Pate in this championship. Watson now for a birdie. Yes, and that's 7 under. And again, just 1 stroke behind Lee Trevino, who plays his 2nd shot to the same hole, the 11th.
Hurry! Go, go! It's there.
And that looks a gem. What an absolute beauty. Now Ken Brown. 2nd shot. Easy swing. And that looks a good one as well. How about that, with almost 2 certain birdie threes? And that will mean that Brown will also go to 7 under, and that Trevino again is 2 ahead.
But the crunch of this pulsating 3rd day now approaches. Morgan finally comes unstuck. Treble bogeys the 14th. Watson, though, marches on. Birdies the 12th. And Trevino once more is a closely hunted man. The short 13th, and Watson again, 1 behind.
6 iron, 153 yards, and the pin today in a difficult spot. But you wouldn't think so when you see shots like that. Over the edge of the bunker, flirting with disaster, but now a chance for a 2. Beautiful shot. He has a chance of getting his 3rd successive birdie. Pate studying Watson's magical putting stroke. Simple, back, through. And he's just got it in. That's 3 birdies in a row, and now at last he's level with Lee Trevino. Ken Brown, 7 under, and down there at 2 under, the name of Jack Nicklaus. This is the par 5, 17th. Ballesteros, 1 under, Nicklaus, 2 under, playing 3. Looks nice. Pulls up a little bit short, but a very holdable putt and a chance for a birdie 4. And behind him at the 16th, Ben Crenshaw. He's 5 under now, 4 off the lead at this 188-yard, difficult par 3.
Chase.
And he chased it well enough, the perfect length, but a little bit wide. Crenshaw safely on, and Jack Newton, his partner today, pretty well out of it. at 1 over. But Crenshaw, a long putt for a birdie. Upright putting stroke, and what a beautiful effort.
Crenshaw then is beginning to stalk the leaders as well. At the 17th, he does birdie, 6 under par. At the top, though, Trevino and Watson go 10 under. This is the 16th.
Looks to be a bit right.
No, don't go in the bunker. And the other bunker.
Into sand. It just shows you that sometimes these golf balls don't listen to a man even of Trevino's caliber, and he's found one of those deep, deep, typical Muirfield bunkers.
It was bloody awful, wasn't it?
An awful it may well be.
Number one, just to get the baby out.
And he has all sorts of problems here because he's got to get this ball up very quickly and try and stop it by the pin.
Hurry.
And a good shot, really, from an awkward place, but still a lot to do. Now, what a crucial shot for Ken Brown, and what a difficult one. Hanging lie across the edge of the bunker. He's going very well, though, today. He's 8 under, just 2 behind. And that's a brilliant shot. That really is one of the classic chip shots played this year. Quite a marvellous touch from Brown, and should escape with his 3. But first, Trevino. No, not enough pace. Fell away to the right. Trevino drops a stroke to par. And loses the lead. Now Brown. Bad putt. That's one of his jabs that went left, so a disastrous hole for both players. Trevino loses his lead to Tom Watson, who's 10 under, 1 ahead, playing the 17th. This for an eagle 3. No, but that's a certain birdie for the 17th, playing very easily today. That's his 5th birdie in 7 holes. He's 11 under par and now leads by 2 strokes. And ahead at the 18th, or the 54th hole, this very famous 447-yard finishing hole, a par 4, Ben Crenshaw. From the edge of the rough, and that's squirted away to the right, and it looks big and strong to me. There she fizzes through the back of the green, just misses the spectators. Oh, and a bitterly disappointed Crenshaw. He's faced with a very difficult 3rd shot indeed. He's right at the back of the green in the television cables. Lots of stuff have to be moved out of the way. He's got to go over the bunker. Ball isn't lying all that well. Not a lot of green to work with. This calls for a master stroke. Tries to play it softly and gently, but it's virtually impossible, and the ball skittles away past the hole, and an almost certain 5 for Crenshaw, who sometimes I feel might almost be trying too hard to win this championship. So, what dramas towards the end of this 3rd round. Trevino and Brown striving desperately to fight back at the 17th. Tom Watson just in front of them, 11 under. And at the 18th, Ben Crenshaw finishing with a 1 over par 5. But he picked up 3 strokes on par today and a total of 208. That's 5 under, not to be sniffed at.
I played pretty well. I shot 68, but it wasn't quite good enough the way the scores are going. So I'm going to have to do something extra special tomorrow.
Now at the 17th, Ken Brown. This for an eagle 3. And if he could hold this, he'd get to within 2 strokes of the lead once again. Well, would you believe that? Of course, that was travelling on a bit, but so often those pop up and then disappear. But that's a birdie for 8 under. And Trevino. This for a par. Oh, that was for a par. But it's a 6 and a tragedy for Trevino at a very crucial stage in this year's championship. Also now 8 under. And 3 behind Watson, who's at the 18th, and for only about the second time today, he's missed the green in regulation figures. And that's a very fine shot indeed from the sand by Watson, and just a few feet left. And if he can pop that putt in, it will mean he's home in 30 strokes and will have completed the 18 holes in 64. Can he do it? Yes, he can. That's just 1 stroke outside the Open record Aoki equalled earlier today. 11 under par, and surely one of the greatest rounds of his young life.
The story of the day is to be compounded by the pitfalls of the final pair as they follow to the 18th. Trevino bogeys his 3rd hole in succession. And Brown? Brown drops the shot he's just gained. The young Scot, though, has stood up well. 68 today, improving from 4 under to 7 under. But Trevino began 3 ahead, and with 71 finishes 4 behind. And the man who's made up 7 shots on him is probably the world's greatest. But tomorrow, all eyes are on the sky, because if the wind blows at Muirfield, who's to say there may not be the first Scottish champion since 1931? A Trevino spectacular, the fulfillment of a Crenshaw dream, or a Watson nightmare. The first Sunday finish ever scheduled in the Open, and the wind does blow. But not a gale, you understand, just a fresh breeze out of the north. A cold, grey testing day.
Hit him hard, Ben.
All right.
And Watson will play with Brown at the rear of the field, and just ahead of them, Crenshaw plays with Trevino. This is the 449-yard first hole. Trevino's 2nd shot. Wooden club, as you see, from light rough. And still bounding and running, and will it hold? No, that's destined for just off the back of the green. Right to left wind. Players well muffled up against the chill. And Crenshaw from the perfect position. And what a majestic 2nd shot. Is he going to set the pace for the day? Trevino, of course, winner of 2 British Open Championships. Crenshaw, desperate to win 1. Trevino with a long chip and run from the back of the green. He's a little unlucky. He's gone into fairly thickish grass. He'll try and get this one close to the ground. Oh no, stubbed the club. Didn't accelerate it, and look what's happened on the opening hole to Trevino. Still Trevino, this for a par. And still a bit to do. Safely negotiated, but the worst possible start for Trevino, a 1 over par 5. What a difference now if Crenshaw can hold this for a birdie 3. Smooth stroke. And what a wonderful start for Crenshaw at this opening hole. A birdie 3, whereas Trevino dropped a stroke, a bogey 5, and so they're both now 6 under par. 5 strokes behind Watson, who's coming up this same first hole today with Ken Brown. 2nd shot from Brown. And on and on and on, and will it hold or will it go through a la Trevino? A la Trevino. Watson from the rough. 6 iron. Found a reasonable lie, made good contact. And will it just hold? No. And already the players beginning to experience the problems of conditions today. The wind not normally in this direction, the ground firm, and you can see the balls, downwind particularly, running fast through the greens. Watson first. Just bumbles it up and looks to have bumbled it very competently indeed. That's a lovely opening chip and run. Now Ken Brown gives it a little bump with his old hickory favourite and on line, but well, they could have done with splitting the difference between them there. They'd have both been stone dead. Oh, and he missed a little one at the end of his round yesterday, and he opens up by missing another one today. A 5 for Brown. But a 4 for Watson, who stays 11 under par, but Ken Brown drops to 6 under. Meantime, at the short 13th, our own Tony Jacklin. Winner of this championship, was it really 11 years ago? Shades of yesterday. But he's 5 over par. Britain's hopes in this Open still being carried by Ken Brown, of course, and certainly not being let down by another pair, Carl Mason from England and the young Scot, Sandy Lyle. And that's a nice-looking putt from Sandy, but just doesn't drop. Well, perhaps it's not going to be his year, but Carl Mason, 4 under par for the championship. Lyle, 2 under. But back with the leader, and Watson in trouble at the 3rd.
Man, you're going to have to move all the way back to the ropes there. Thank you.
Pushed his drive and now faces a blind second shot from this thickish, stubbly rough. This hole a par 4, 379 yards. And he's going to give it a crack with an 8 iron. And the rough seems to have turned Watson's club, skipping and running, but that's on the left side of the green and still in a little spot of bother. Watson giving perhaps a touch of hope to his pursuers, and Ken Brown, who's playing with him today, most of all. Awkward chip and run, but the ball was lying well, pitched on the edge of the green, and a good shot. Ken Brown. That shows you some of the swings and slopes here on these Muirfield greens. Watson for a par. No, sir, misread that. And so that's a stroke dropped. Now back to 10 under par. Brown gets his par. Now he and Crenshaw are 4 strokes behind, not 5, as they leave the 3rd green. Trevino only 5 under now, having dropped a shot at the 4th. And that's still the position as he and Crenshaw come to the 8th hole. 444 yards. Stiff par 4. Trevino already on in 2. That's Crenshaw's 2nd. Nice looking shot at the target. Crenshaw looking slightly agitated, so anxious is he to win this title. All is still as Trevino tries for a birdie. Good line. Now Crenshaw, also for a birdie. Upright style. 2 birdies. And Crenshaw has now picked up 2 strokes on par today and goes 7 under. While Watson has dropped 1. Crenshaw just 3 strokes off the lead at the 9th hole. Perfectly safe. Now this surely is a chance for Crenshaw and Trevino. This hole may well be 495 yards, but with the wind behind, it's easily reachable in 2. They're both safely down the fairway, so in theory, certainly this hole becomes a potential eagle and an opportunity right here and now, not only to pick up 1, but perhaps 2 shots on Watson. Great excitement, huge crowds. There's Willie Whitelaw, Home Secretary, taking a day off work, eager to see what these gladiators can do. Trevino second. Skip and run, skip and run. And they don't come very much better than that. And with Trevino so very close to the hole, with a real chance for an eagle, this is an extra important shot for Crenshaw. Oh, and he has pulled that, heading towards the wall, and stops in fairly heavy grass. A crucial error, because he left himself a very awkward chip. Although he's got lots of green, it's very quick and there's a big slope. It's a great test of nerve and skill, judgment of pace. Now, has he given it enough? It's so very quick down there, but as you see, the slope fooled him, and now what started out as a possible eagle may well only become a par. Still Crenshaw's play. No birdie. And much there for Crenshaw to ponder. He hit a perfect tee shot and still contrived to get a par 5, which under these conditions he must feel is a shot wasted. And what a turnabout here there could be if Trevino can hold his for an eagle 3. 7 or 8 feet, and he's not hit it hard enough. And I think both players will feel they lost a great opportunity. And who knows, it might well cost them dearly at the end of the day. They may well remember what they did at the 9th. And Watson, who's now reached the 7th, remains 3 ahead. 185 yards, a good short hole. And not so short today, Watson with a 4-iron. Oh, and a little touch of good fortune there, just tiptoed over the bank. Now Ken Brown. 5 under. And also flirts with that little bank and just tiptoes a little nearer to the hole. And the great man he's playing with, Tom Watson. So Watson first. This for a 2. Big swing. A 2 for Watson. Now can the trusted old hickory do likewise? Tap and tip and run and in, yes. Brown also birdies. Brown gets back to 6 under, but Watson is 11 under par. 4 ahead of the field as they come to the 8th. 444 yards, the 8th hole. But perhaps today, under these conditions, not as frightening as I have seen it on other occasions. Watson's, in fact, using a 5-iron. Good rhythm, wide backswing, good balance. Then a superb shot from Watson. That ball bit in and stops pretty quickly and allows Watson a good chance for a birdie 3. Brown already on the green with a longish putt, and he'll be very delighted, I should imagine, to get this absolutely stone dead and collect a solid par. Well, he's given that a good rap. Oh, catches the edge a touch too hard, but that will be a certain par 4 for Brown, but nearly a 3. Now Watson for a birdie. Oh, just caught the left edge, and that's 2 birdies in 2 holes. Watson 12 under par. Meantime, Crenshaw's dropped another stroke at the 10th, and so he's now only 6 under, Trevino 7 under, as they turn back slightly into the wind at the 11th. Crenshaw's second shot. Hole's running out now. Crenshaw needs birdies. But that's a good-looking shot. Oh, right at the target. Superb shot from Crenshaw now. Is this going to be a turn in the tide? That for a 3. But first, Trevino for a 3. Doesn't look to have quite the legs. No. And that's a 4 and a par when they needed 3s and birdies. Now Crenshaw. One of the most brilliant of putters. The stroke of a young man. No. Well, really, you could say that's almost 3 strokes in a row missed. And Crenshaw was angered by it all. Watson still 5 ahead. And among the 3 unders, the name of Jack Nicklaus, who's still 3 under, coming to the final hole, playing with Gil Morgan. Morgan, third shot. And a little gem. Well, he's had his moments of glory in this championship. A round of 72 today to finish 1 under. And now Jack Nicklaus for a birdie. What a way for the great man to finish. That's a birdie 3, 4 under par, a total of 280 for the 4 rounds, and will probably now be in the first 4 in this Open, as he has been indeed, quite astonishingly, more than a dozen times. But back out on the course, Watson 12 under. At the 9th, he's missed the green, so this, his 3rd shot. Oh, a marvellous chip. So that'll be 3 birdies in 3 holes. He's striding away. He's now 13 under par.
Even in an Open championship, there can come a time when one man's golf, its very virtuosity, can transcend all competition and become before its end almost an exhibition, a victory roll, a lap of honour. So it is today with Tom Watson. He's already 6 strokes better than his nearest rivals, Trevino and Crenshaw, and 7 ahead of young Brown. Now the homeward half, and this is the 11th. Four birdies in 5 holes. Now the 12th. 5 birdies in 6 holes. Shall we forgive him a bogey at the 10th, and one to come later on? Yes. Let's merely emphasize that at proud, fair Muirfield, in the Open Championship in varying weather, and with but 6 of 72 holes to play, he is, yes, 14 under par and 7 ahead of the field. Against that, what can others do? Only their best, which in some cases is better than previous best.
Carl Mason, the 27-year-old British player. This for a 68. No, not to be, but a 69, and a marvellous championship for young Carl Mason.
Mason, 2 under par today, 4 under for the championship, is destined to tie Nicklaus for 4th place. Trevino and Crenshaw shoot it out to the end.
Nice little pitch. Bites in. Oh, Crenshaw, capable of so many.
But by now, theirs is a private war for 2nd place.
Now Trevino. Oh, it didn't quite make it.
And Watson,
Yes, ball.
against that swing, opponents can scarcely now do anything but force a cheerful countenance and determine to be runner-up. Trevino eventually has that honor. Indeed, he's birdied the 14th and 15th and has a round of 69. On the day, comparable with Watson. The loser because of yesterday. He's 9 under par. And Crenshaw? Also 69, but 7 under, and 3rd.
Lee Trevino and myself were hoping for a little bit more wind. One of the crucial points of my round today was the 9th hole. I missed my birdie. It came at the middle of my round, and I thought that that was one of the chances that I really did need.
And Ken Brown. The young Scot sees his game ebb away on the homeward stretch at painstaking pace. And the crowds at the 18th wait half an hour more for the final triumphant entry of Watson.
Tom's second shot to the final hole. Oh, right at the flag, and a definite chance for that birdie 3. Just look at those crowds. Nearly 132,000 people have attended Muirfield this week. And now they salute their champion, Tom Watson.
This is one of the great spectacles in golf. I think that as a player, I've never received a feeling like that in my life, and I only wish I could get a little bit closer the way that Tom Watson's doing it now. He played a splendid, splendid championship.
Prize money this year, £200,000. And so the final scenes. And first to putt, Ken Brown, 7 under at the start of the day, now only 3 under, which means that he won't even be the top home player, that honour going to England's Carl Mason. This, though, for his par 4. No, and that's a 5. Another shot dropped to 76 today, 2 under for the championship, and a share of 6th place. And receiving well-deserved applause, for he played very well the opening 3 rounds, slipped a bit today, but I'm sure we'll hear a lot more of Ken Brown in the years ahead. Now the crowd settle. Watson about to become champion. This for a birdie, this for a 68. No, just a little short. But Watson, with only a little tiny one to tap in, is the champion. Here it goes. A 69 today, a total of 271, and that's only 3 outside the record he himself set up at Turnberry 3 years ago. 13 under for the championship. He wins £25,000, but far more important to him, I'm sure, his 3rd Open title, all won in Scotland. What a day for the Watsons.
So there you have it. Trevino second, Crenshaw third. The leading amateur, Jay Siegel, also from the United States. But of course, really one man's day.
Champion golfer of the year with a score of 271, Tom Watson.
Just one final thought, and for the rest of the world's golfers, a disturbing one. Here's a man who's already won 3 Opens in Britain, and he's still only 30.